Today's episode features Jamie Jackson, a real estate agent whose journey into this business was shaped by something deeply personal, being a single mom, buying her first home. That experience sparked something in her and led her into real estate, where helping others achieve home ownership has become the heart of the work she does every day. If you're a new agent thinking about getting into the business, or just curious what this career really looks like behind the scenes, this one's for you. Let's jump into the conversation. Today, I'm excited to have Jamie Jackson with us. And Jamie's going to jump right in and tell us about her journey in real estate. Welcome, Jamie. We're glad to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here. My journey in real estate actually started, I'd say, probably about 7-ish or so years ago. I've always been around it. My parents have rental properties. My grandparents have always had rental properties. But mine really started when I bought my first home. I bought my first home as a single mom of two. So was very excited, very proud of myself. But there were some things during the process like that I had asked about. For example, I asked about down payment assistance, and I was told, oh, you don't need that. That's for people who their credit is not that good. Your credit score is great, so we don't have to worry about that. Just things of that nature. And then finding out a little bit down the road, oh, that's not really the case, that I still could have qualified and used it. So that kind of really pushed me to go for it and want to get into real estate, but I still didn't do it at that time of going down further down that path, my boyfriend happens to be a loan officer. And so I started seeing him working with clients, getting them into homes, just really making people happy, especially the ones who thought that this would never happen. I'd never have this chance. And so watching him do that and watching his clients, how they felt afterwards just kind of really propels me. And it's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to get this done and got my license and have been happy in real estate ever since.
That's awesome. And congratulations to you also for buying that first house. That's a
Thank you.
huge thing. And, I say it often that that is the heart of what we get to do is
Yes,
really go through those transactions that you feel like, wow, I'm making a difference in this person's life, because
definitely.
that you buying a home makes a difference in your family's life. And that's a good thing. So
All the
congratulations.
time. And I'll tell you what, that's what keeps me going, to be honest, with real estate. Because I mean, it can be a little hectic sometimes, especially with the market, when it's going up, when it's down, things of that nature. But the clients that I help, that is the motivation. Like, okay, you've got to keep doing this, seeing people get happy, seeing people accomplish a dream or a goal, and being able to be a part of that means a lot to me.
I also find that those that you help out like that really felt and appreciate you holding their hand through that process, because there's a lot of questions that clients have, but
But
you being
yes,
able to do that, you become their hero and they're happy to refer their friends and family to you down the road too. So that's the fun part. That's kind
it
of the
is.
reward for what we do.
It definitely is.
So tell us a little bit about, like, as you first got your license and got rolling through this business, was there any challenge or something that came up that is different than you expected in the life of a real estate agent?
I'd probably say almost everything. It's one thing.
It's not like it is on TV.
Exactly. I tell people that all the time. Like, if you get into it and you're thinking you're about to be like selling Sunset or any of those other shows, just throw that idea out the window. I would say it's a lot that we do that people don't really see the behind the scenes work. Like, say for instance, the negotiating with other agents when you have a client who put in an offer, or let's say you have a house that you're listing and you're going over there and you're trying to get it ready for pictures and you're like, oh no, this is out of place. So you're trying to tidy up. I mean, a lot of the paperwork and things like that people don't see as well. And the coordination of my client needs their house inspected. Let me get an inspector and all these other relationships that you build with people outside of just you and your client. I have a whole list of vendor partners, and those are relationships that I had to go out and build. And, you don't really learn a lot of that when you're starting out or when you're in school. Because in school it's teaching you the real estate laws. They're teaching you that part of the job, the book part, but they're not teaching you the actual, here's what you really do when you get out there.
It's true. And that's something that I think it happens in a lot of industries. I kind of compare it to someone going to medical school, and luckily we don't have all the years that they do to have to invest, but when someone goes through medical school, they still have to work with others to get that hands-on experience. It's not only about what's in the books.
Exactly.
As you were making your transition into full-time real estate, because that's sometimes a scary or feels a bit risky, was there something there that you felt like, okay, I have to overcome this hurdle? Were there any hurdles along the way?
Mine was actually a little bit different. I was actually started off as a dual agent. So I had my full time job and then real estate, and my plans were to probably keep it that way for a while. However, I was actually laid off in October of 2024. And so that's what kind of pushed me into real estate full time. And I would say one of the biggest hurdles is you really have to depend on yourself. When you're working a W-2, there's that paycheck. Granted, it's not guaranteed, hence I was laid off. But, at least most of the time, it's coming. But when you're doing real estate, especially full time, you have to really, I tell people you have to have like a hunter mentality because the only way you're going to get paid is through you. And so you're going to have to get out there. You're going to have to market yourself. You're going to have to do the work. And so just trying to figure that piece out and what worked for me was probably one of the biggest hurdles.
And the way you started, though, is how so many people do. They keep that W-2 job for a little while and slowly make their transition into full-time real estate, making that I guess you had a little prompt along the way to
Yeah.
push you into it. But, it is something that I think a lot of agents struggle with early on. And then getting comfortable with the idea
Hmm.
and the process. And when you get that commission check, don't go spend it all because it may need to last you.
Exactly.
You have to pay your bills out of it.
Yes. And I think that's a big part too. Learning, because like you said, you get the commission check, but then you don't know where the other one's going to come from. So definitely not getting one and then spending it all, and then like, oh no, now you're rushing, trying to figure out what do I do next or, things like that. So
What about your client base? Where have you found luck in finding or securing clients that you've been working with?
for me, it is social media. I am very, very big on promoting across social media, all the different channels, things of that nature. And so that's where I've been able to find the majority of clients that I've worked with.
It's always interesting to me to find where people have success in
Hmm.
finding clients because, with a brand new agent, we could give them a list of 20 different sources. And for every person, it's different. And
Every person, yeah.
you find what works for you, what is your niche, and you continue to invest there.
Definitely, because I know people will say, "Oh, you work your sphere and things like that," but everyone's sphere is not trying to buy a house, or sell a house. And so you have to be able to be comfortable kind of going outside of that creating additional spheres as well.
And looking at the things that you do as those circles, as those spheres.
Hmm.
You're already doing a lot. You just have to change your mindset on the way you're approaching all of those different
Exactly.
things. What do you find in real estate, whether it be on the personal side or on the business side? What do you find the one thing is that you must always show up for?
I would say on the personal and the business side, the one thing I must always show up for, it's going to sound a little bit weird, but is myself. And the reason I say that is if I cannot show up for myself, I won't be able to show up for my clients. And so that means making sure that I have everything together, not just personally, but professionally, that I know I will need for my clients as well. And so that's what really helps me is knowing, okay, this is what Jamie needs to do so that she's successful. And that will help me be successful in turn for my clients. And so I would say showing up for me first really helps me to show up for them.
I agree with that too. And whether it's taking that personal time
Hmm.
as a reset or and tell me if I'm wrong, but what I kind of heard in there is you like your ducks in a row and you're an organized person. And so
Yes,
you like knowing where things are.
exactly. And so that might mean learning new things within real estate. So I can broaden my scope and that helps me both professionally and personally, but then it shows up for my clients as well.
It does, and it helps them. Oh my goodness, an organized agent can get you from opening that first door to finding the house you love all the way to closing, because that is the one thing that our clients don't realize is how many things happen between that moment to closing.
Yes. They don't realize that at all. And I think some of them now are starting to, because you're seeing more and more about real estate in the media. So I think people are now starting to see, okay, it's not just let me go look at houses all day or let me go open these doors. There's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes as well.
There is so many people that we have to communicate with through the process of the transaction, whether it be lenders, title companies, you mentioned the inspector, all of those different things and all of those different parties that we're communicating with along the way.
Exactly.
It's a fun business, but
It
it is
is.
one that we have to make sure we take that time for ourselves too, so we can
Yes.
reset and be strong for our client.
It is. I love it. And I love getting to meet different people too. I think that's one of the best parts of it.
Good. How long have you been in this business?
Gosh, almost 2 years.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. So
almost two
you're
years.
right at the cusp where you're like, "I like it. I love it. I'm staying."
Exactly. And I've been really I would say really blessed in it too. I've done probably close to 30 transactions or a little bit more in a shorter time frame. And so, like I said, I love it. It's what I do.
What's been the most surprising deal so far? Whether it be something that happened in the transaction or and could be good,
Mhm.
or something that you really had to handhold the way through.
I would probably say one of the most surprising in a transaction for me, and luckily I was a little bit prepared for it. I had clients who were relocating from New York, and they were doing a new construction home. And unfortunately, sometimes with new constructions, things don't go exactly as planned, and their date kept getting pushed back, pushed back, pushed back, their close date. But yet they're trying to move. And so, that's kind of, especially when you're relocating from another state, it's really hard to have that closing date keep getting changed. So that
Mhm.
was one that I would probably say was a little bit different and surprising because I've never seen it change that many times in
Mhm.
one transaction. I think it changed about 3 times. And so trying to work with them, calm their fears about that, and then also staying on top of the lending side and the builder side, and stressing to them, hey, this is my client. They need a place to live. You told them XYZ date. This is what they built their relocation around. We need this
Mhm.
to happen, and being
Right.
able to do that and be there for them.
And so often when people are relocating from another area, they're doing it for a job. So it's highly likely
Yeah.
that on Monday they were supposed to be at work too.
That's a big one too. I work with a lot of people who relocate. I'm a native of the Dallas Fort Worth area. And so because of that, I know the market extremely well. So I tend to get a lot of people that relocate. And that's one of the main things that we have to focus on is like you said, they're relocating usually for a job. And so they need to be in that property by XYZ date. And so
Yes.
being able to get that done.
And both are emotional. I mean, some of the
Definitely.
biggest stressors that we can have are buying or selling a home, moving across the country, starting a new job. They're doing all of those all at once. And so every delay on one delays the other. And just, yeah,
Yeah.
good job on holding it together and making it happen.
Thank you, thank you, and the main thing was keeping them calm and because they were a young couple starting out, and I wanted to make sure it was as smooth for them as possible.
That's good. Is there anything looking back that you wished you had known sooner? Like, we talked a little bit about how it's different than you expected, but is there any one or two things that you think, gosh, if I had only known this in the very beginning?
I don't know if I have anything like that right now. I think being like I said, being so close to it,
Hmm.
especially I've learned really a whole lot, on the lending side of it too, because of my proximity to all of that.
Uh,
So there wasn't a lot that honestly kind of really shocked me, so to speak, about it. But just like I told everyone, I kind of went into it though with the mindset that what I saw on TV was TV. This is not going to be that easy in real life.
uh-huh.
And so I think going into it with that realistic mindset really helped with that.
Makes a huge difference
Mhm.
too. setting your expectations up
Yes.
correctly from the beginning. And of course, just like goals, just like you set goals at the beginning of the year, there's room for modification, there's
Yeah.
room for things to change. But if you're realistic about it, then when you achieve those goals or those things happen as you hoped or anticipated, then you go, okay, great, I can move on to the next one now.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly.
Good. Well, this has been fun today. I know you have an appointment to get to, so I want to be respectful of
Yes.
your
Thank
time.
you.
Is there anything that you would like to leave our audience with? Any last thoughts?
I would say if you are a new agent or if you're someone on the fence thinking about, do I want to do this? I say go for it. It's really fun. It's really rewarding. Don't let people talk you out of your hopes and dreams. If this is something you want to do, definitely do it. And I'm always here to answer questions for any type of new agents or anyone that's kind of on the fence, so they can feel free to reach out there as well. But I think, for people that are kind of trying to figure out if this is what they want to do, I don't think you'll regret it.
Love hearing that, especially from you, because you mentioned you're a single mom when you got into this real estate business. And I think that's such a something for people to look at and say, gosh, if she can do it, I can do it too. So kudos to you.
Thank
Great
you.
job. Well, it's been fun having you today. I very much appreciate it and hope that we will have an opportunity to talk again soon.
Thank you. Same here. I know we've been trying to connect for a while, so I'm glad we were able to make it happen.
This episode has been sponsored by HomeSmart Stars. Agents, do you feel unseen, unheard? Maybe wish you had better commission? Maybe wish that you were welcomed and encouraged to just show up as you are and be your true authentic self and have all the training and support and tools to help you thrive in your real estate career? If so, then you need to reach out to HomeSmart Stars and make HomeSmart Stars your home for real estate.